we go.
Thanks for reaching that for me. I look like a walking disaster. Might as well go see the natural disaster movie.
I was about to say, I think the San Andreas fault hit your head, too.
My shoulder, too. It's San Francisco. This is just the parts in the field that they were in.
Means your arm's just going to break off by the end of the review.
Man, Paul Giamatti warned me about this.
God help you all.
We just got out of San Andreas, which apparently wildly better than their movie was.
Yes. Disaster movie, but not the most disastrous movie this week.
Fucking apparently not. They should have read the emails that Amy Pascal's that got leaked.
Yeah, I just think it's weird. I just spit on myself. Yeah, classic. No, I just think it's weird, like, our movie is about, like, super earthquakes and fucking...
tidal waves.
Yeah, the entirety of San Francisco just being wiped from the board. Mm-hmm. And ours is apparently the more grounded movie. Like, ours makes the most sense out of the two new releases this week. Mm-hmm. How is that fucking possible? How is that at all a thing that happens?
Cameron Crowe made it work. He made it happen.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. He made it happen, because from what I hear, he didn't exactly make it work.
Or, I think it's funny that we're here because we saw 2012.
Yeah.
We didn't even review it together. We just saw it together.
Just watched it.
That was before the midnight screenings, but we still saw that movie at midnight because we didn't have anything to do, and we thought that'd be a stupid idea.
It's like, oh man, what are you doing at midnight on a Wednesday? I don't know. Watching 2012, I guess. 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, guess I'll go home. There's nothing, no review, no nothing, just... I'm tired.
This is way before they started doing this shit every week, so when we got here, we weren't sure if they were actually doing the screening, because there was nobody here and hardly an employee. Is the 2012 screening still going on? Oh yeah, there's a few people in there.
I forgot, yeah, that was that night, like, didn't we, like, walk in there and, like, half the lights were off and, like, there was no employees, like, did they just forget to lock the doors? Like... I kind of feel like we shouldn't be here. Like, we had to walk, like, all the way, like, almost to, like, the concession thing before we found somebody to go back and buy tickets.
We didn't think there'd be anyone else here seeing this. This movie was better than 2012. If anything, it's an hour shorter than 2012.
Which just helps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like that this was more contained, like... This movie pretty much ended at about the point where 2012 started becoming just intolerable. Like, it kept it just, like, pretty well contained to, like, right there in Southern California.
Yeah.
Found a nice spot to be, and was just there for the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, it's like, oh man, we finally got away from there. Let's land in, like, Yellowstone Park. Oops, it's a volcano now. Well, now let's fly to Hawaii.
Or like, they're like, oh, we safely made it onto the arcs. Shit, there's something wrong with the arcs. 45 minutes left of the movie. Oh, god damn it.
It's gonna take a long time to fix this, isn't it?
But at least Cusack's daughter didn't need her Huggies anymore.
I am so sad that that wasn't a plot point in this movie.
Oh, if, like, her British boyfriend came up to her and at the end, I don't need my Huggies anymore. The end.
Suddenly less appealing to me.
I like your idea for the ending better if, like, okay, when they're all, like, where are they? They're, like, they're
standing on, like, the hills that kind of overlook the Golden Gate Bridge.
Mm-hmm. And there's, like, helicopters and shit, and, like, Carla Gugino's, like... what do we do now? And you see, like, an American flag drape over the bridge, and The Rock's like, now we rebuild. But I like your version better.
It's like, I got work to do. And then just climbs in a chopper and flies away.
Fortunate Son starts playing for some reason. Why not? They put that at the end of Battleship.
Yeah. This movie is a series of things happening which all seem well and good if you don't think about anything that's actually happening.
It's easy for me. I am very medicated.
Because this movie is a series of events of The Rock just going from place to place to place, saving people, but pretty much just his family.
Yeah.
And in the course of doing so, basically, like, completely ignores his actual job, which is trying to aid in the rescue effort to save other people. He decides to just towards the beginning, like, this big earthquake hits and destroys the Hoover Dam. So all these, like, helicopter, like, rescue guys from all around, like, neighboring states are supposed to start reporting over there to help with the rescue
I know.
effort.
I like that he's like, oh, he says to his daughter, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't make our trip. Not like, oh, doesn't that suck that the Hoover Dam is gone?
Yeah.
Like 1,000 people probably just died.
So all of the guys in his unit are, like, mobilizing, and apparently he just gets in one of the choppers alone, which is weird because, like, at the very beginning it shows him doing his thing as part of a 4-man team.
Yeah, it has this opening scene where whoever wrote this movie just really, really wanted to do some bad shit to, like, a texting teenager who's, like, searching for her drink and shit. Like,
She's like looking around in the seat, and then she's like getting out her cell phone and texting.
Yeah. Rocks fall off of the fucking mountain and just push her right the fuck off, and her car is just dangling from the side of this mountain. It's like if 127 Hours was about a car. Hell, one guy even gets his arm pinned underneath it.
And it's totally fine as soon as they get the car off of it.
He gives the thumbs up. He's like, I'm okay. He's not in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like, part of this team, and then it's like, oh man, we all need to mobilize to get over there. And he's like, okay. And then he's even walking next to one of the other guys in his team, but then just gets on the helicopter alone and flies away. And then, I guess, like, part way out of this city, finds out that, like, you know, like, oh man, there's some other earthquakes going on. And his wife is in, like, fucking, where is she at? She's in, like, somewhere in LA, I guess.
Yeah, because she's meeting with her divorce. Oh yeah, this movie, it really does do every single disaster movie trope, because Dwayne Johnson and Carla Gugino they're about to get divorced, and she has a new boyfriend, and
he's a terrible douche.
Yeah, and one of their kids had previously died by drowning, which it flashes back to at one point and is hilarious. River rafting wave. Ah!
And it was weird because that was like a POV shot for that part.
Yeah, it's like one of it had like a mounted camera on them or something like that. But it's okay. He redeems himself because at the end he saves his other daughter from drowning. Like it's that. It is that kind of disaster movie. There's not an attempt to make this different from any of the others. It just happens to be more tolerable than 2012.
It's a lot bigger spectacle, and I think because it stayed kind of more constrained, like it was more doable, because granted it took place all over the fucking place, but I think since it was in like primarily one location, it kind of had more of a feel like more of like a classic disaster film, like Poseidon Adventure or something like that, where it's
or like Earthquake, the Heston one. Yeah, I mean, like I mean
it was still all over the place, but like I said, like it didn't feel like in 2012, like half the fucking time they're in transit between one place to another.
Yeah, there's not a lot of that here. They really honestly do keep the action.
Yeah, they're pretty much just still like they keep like circling each other until they finally meet up. But like that's what it is. Like the whole movie's like them trying to get to the point where like they meet up. It's not like, all right, we found you guys. Now let's just keep moving. Like, no, it's like there's constantly a moving target, like a moving goal that they're trying to get to.
Yeah, it's paced pretty freaking well. Like what you said, comparing it to 2012, or even comparing it to, say, like The Day After Tomorrow, where all the shit happens in like the first half, and then the rest is them walking.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now everything is cold and sleep in a Wendy's and just keep walking to New York, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it almost made up for it when the cold was chasing them.
Keep moving. Close the door.
Ice. Oh my god, it's following them. It's going up the stairs, too. But, like, we were making jokes about it because our theater was pretty dead. Like, everyone in the theater was, like, making jokes, and so were we. We were cracking about, like, the Carrie Elwes of the movie is Ioan Griffith. Is that
apparently that's how you pronounce it? I had to look that one up on IMDb because we're like, how the fuck do you
Griffith? Oh, like, Griffith.
Yeah,
obviously.
Pulled up on there, like, it's like, oh, he's from Wales. Oh, that's why the alphabet makes no fucking sense to them.
He's like the boyfriend, but at first we were making joke. We were like, actually, at this point in the movie, we know more about him than we do Dwayne Johnson. It sets it up sort of that he's not that bad of a guy. He's like this rich, like, he's this extremely wealthy, like, architect, and is like going on about this movie foreshadows a lot. He's going on about how, like, indestructible his new building is. So yeah, later they end up in this building for safety. And hell, even Giamatti, when he's teaching a course about earthquakes at the beginning, of course there's the girl with the question, like, so could, like, the San Andreas fault, like, go off or something? He's like, it's not a matter of if, but when. So in a couple hours.
Yeah, a few hours after that question was posed. You gotta think that girl has gotta be like, oh my god, I caused this.
Oh my god, I did this. Like, her story is a Stephen King movie. Wow, there's...
Anytime she asks about a disaster, it happens.
Oh. Starring Drew Barrymore. But yeah, like, we were making jokes like, for all we know, like, Dwayne Johnson is like a dickhead, and this divorce is totally like...
Yeah, for all we know, he's like going off like banging co-eds or something while his wife's at work. Like, we know nothing about him other than he operates a rescue chopper. That's it. At this point, like, at the early stage of the movie when we find out about their divorce, that's all we know about him.
But we know way more about Ioan Griffith.
But yeah, he's given us his whole backstory and everything, and I mean, well, plus it doesn't fucking help that, okay, so as the estranged couple in this, you have The Rock and Carla Gugino. And then as their daughter,
oh yes,
is Alexandria Daddario.
Yeah,
who looks passingly like Carla Gugino, but
I think her dad might be Ioan Griffith.
That's her biological dad. Because I'm sorry, she is pale as fuck. She got bright blue eyes. Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's the fact that she doesn't look anything at all like Dwayne Johnson.
I don't think either one of them have blue eyes, Carla Gugino or Dwayne Johnson.
She's, I mean, with a name like that, I'm assuming like Italian or something like that, but he's like Samoan. And this chick is white as shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying that, I honestly don't know, like, what ethnicity she is, but I know it's not fucking Samoan.
You can see a lot more of her in True Detective.
But yeah, it's just, yeah, it's like, you see, like, there's a scene towards the beginning when you first meet, Ioan Griffith, and it's the four of them standing there, and you're like, well, that's her dad. There's no fucking way that
that's John Redcorn.
Who knew? I'm sorry, like they're.
Well, we saw pictures of them when they were kids, and that photoshopped image in front of. There's some very obvious photoshopping and green screening going on in this. Like, the effects are better, but the green screening is kind of like an asylum movie in this. Were you noticing a lot of that too?
There were some of the parts where yeah, it was really bad. Like when that car was flipping over at the beginning of the thing. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that felt straight up like some of those effects we saw on what was it, like 2012 Doomsday?
Oh yeah, the Jesus-y one. Yeah.
Like that was right up there with some shit you'd see in that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like it nothing. Like when it was just showing like just the buildings getting destroyed, that looked pretty decent. Mm-hmm. But then whenever it was something like, like that scene when they're towards the beginning where Carla Gugino's in that restaurant,
yeah,
and like her lawyer runs through that one door, and then she goes and opens it, and like the building's just gone outside that doorway, and there's like you just see people like just tumbling out, and like this one guy like, holding onto a bar, like no, clink,
We're losing our shit, and the guy who falls out of the wall, like in the stairwell, the wall comes.
There towards the beginning, it was just hilarious because like every 5 seconds, just somebody would like fall through a sudden hole, or like the wall would just give out, and somebody would just go tumbling out of a building. They'd be standing there, and all of a sudden, like it's like, well, maybe it's safe over that way on that side of the street. Pan over, somebody running, splat. It's like.
Or just a random guy in the background will be on fire.
Yeah. Just laying there like, don't mind him.
God. Oh, I could have used a lot more of, when you find out that Ewan Griffith is like a douchebag, it's, he just leaves Alexander Daddario to like just die in her car. And, which, to be fair, everyone else was leaving people to fucking die throughout this whole movie.
Well, and honestly, though, for his situation, I am willing to give him a fucking pass. Like, the movie kind of, like, vilifies him, but I'm willing to give him a pass because he was trying to help her get out of the car. Like the car gets kind of crushed a little bit. Uh-huh. She's trapped on her side, but he can still get out of his side. He goes around and tries to get the door open, and he can't. And then he sees an exit staircase, and he has this look in his eyes like, I should just fucking leave. She's like, don't leave me. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. I just gotta go get help.
Yeah.
Goes upstairs, and he does legitimately try to get help for her, but like everybody's going crazy. And then a giant like piece of the building falls and crushes the security guy he was talking to and almost kills him. It like pulls his shoe off.
Yeah. And
then he's just kind of like in a staggering stupor after that and just starts wandering the city. It's like, it's not like he just left. It's like he just suddenly almost died, so his brain just shut off and he just started walking.
You know, that was how I read that too. I was like, it seems like he has kind of an excuse here, but...
Yeah, it'd be different if there was like a line in there where he's like, you know what? Not fucking worth it.
Yeah.
And just took off. Like, no, like this big fucking rock falls. He's like looking at it, realizes that he almost died, and then just kind of gets up. Is like, he just starts wandering. And she's like, with that look on his face, the rest of the movie.
Maybe that's why they added that other scene of him just straight up sacrificing another guy. Like, I could have used way more scenes like that in this, because, like, there's, like, a building is toppling over, and there's some people just, like, hiding behind the corner of this building, and there was no room over there, so he just runs up to this guy, yanks him out, throws the guy in the street, and just, like, takes his place, and then that guy dies. Like, I could have used, like, 12 more scenes like that.
Yeah, like, that seems like the sort of thing that they wanted to do, but then it was just like that one time you see him do that. The next time we see him, he's somehow managed to walk, in the course of, like, 2-3 hours, he's managed to walk from the center of the city to all the way out and around and up, and he's like halfway across the fucking Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, he's on the Golden Gate Bridge, and so many people die in that scene just to teach him a lesson. Because he is crushed by this, what do you call those boats?
Oh, yeah, it's like this big, like shipping container barge.
Yeah. He is flattened by one of the containers, but then that whole ship takes out that entire bridge, killing thousands.
But he's the first one to go.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, very fucking, like, just closed off shots where, like, you see all this happening and, like, he, like, kind of looks up, like, and then it just cuts to him on the bridge, just bang.
Yeah. Smash. Just flattened like a fucking pancake.
Lingering shot of the container. Then it zooms back out to show, like, oh, and here's the rest of the boat taking out the bridge. But it really wanted you to see that he's dead and, like, give you a minute to, like, I don't know, like, the people who hated him in the crowd to be like, yeah!
I like your version of that better, though, when, because at that point, The Rock and Carla Gugino on this boat, and they're trying to get, like, perfect storm. They're trying to get over this giant tidal wave, and it would have been great if it just carried them over and safely put them on top of the bridge.
They start, like, yeah, they're out in the water, and they realize, like, all the fucking, like, water is pulling out, and, like, he's like, oh shit, it's gonna be a tsunami. And then, like, they start, like, we need to get out of the bay. Start heading out towards open water. And that's about the time, like, they see the wave, and it's probably an equal distance, but, like, if here's the bridge, here's them, here's the wave. Like it looks like, oh man, they're just gonna meet at the right time, like, land on top of the bridge. That's what I figured was gonna happen.
That would have been amazing.
Well, especially because, like, at this point in the movie, he has stolen so many vehicles.
Yeah.
Like,
planes, cars,
yeah, I mean,
boats.
He initially steals the police chopper that he was issued to go, like, save his wife and then fly upstate to save, or downstate, or whichever fucking direction San Francisco is from LA, to save his daughter. So he just commandeers the fucking thing on his own. He's like, you know what? I need this more than the police do to save potentially more people. That craps out, so he steals a truck, but it's okay because it's already been stolen once before.
Yeah, there's some people, like, stealing TVs and shit. The dude pulls a gun on him.
Which, I'm sorry, like, if you're gonna pull a gun on someone like The Rock, you might as well just shoot him, because if he turns around, you're dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the way that part was shot, because you just see the gun go up to Dwayne Johnson's head, and then it's like this slow pan to the person behind him. I thought it was gonna be like, it's gonna pan over and it'll be like James Franco or somebody. Some guy.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he steals that truck until they get to the, like, a point to where they can't keep driving anymore. So then he helps out this old guy and then trades him his truck for a, like, single engine plane that's built for skydiving.
There's skydiving in this movie.
So then when they get to San Francisco in this plane now, they realize that they can't land anywhere. So then they fucking do, like, a halo jump out of this thing, land right next to the waterfront, and they're like, oh no, we can't get through the city. Looks to this way, oh, well, here's the harbor. So then they steal a boat.
Oh, but you gotta mention the best line in the movie, when they land in the baseball stadium, when they skydive.
Fucking hell. This is the corniest goddamn thing I've ever seen.
Oh, so, he delivered that with a passion, man.
But yeah, they're flying this plane, and, like, they fly over the airport, and they see that it's completely destroyed, and all of the freeways are choked up with cars, so they can't try landing on the freeway. So what he does is he sets it to autopilot and just aims it towards the ocean. And his plan is to jump out of the plane and land in the city, and just let the plane keep going till it runs out of fuel and just drops into the fucking ocean. hopefully it didn't hit anybody.
Hey, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Like, I'm just gonna let this fucking thing fly at altitude.
At least in Temple of Doom, we saw the plane crash in the background.
Yeah, right? But yeah,
That'd be something if you saw the plane and that crash into that village.
Oh, no. Yeah, so he just lets the thing fucking fly off, and they parachute in, and they manage to land right in the middle of the baseball field that's there in San Francisco. And they fucking nail it. They peg the landing and land right on second base.
Which prompts the line.
Which prompts The Rock to look, in the midst of all of this shit and mayhem and destruction that's going on, prompts him to, like, look at her and give her this sly grin, like, it's like, man, it's been a long time since I got you to second base.
Because fuck yeah.
They share a chuckle and a wink, and then they get back to fucking trying to survive.
When you gotta take that chance, but when are you ever gonna have a line like that again?
Yeah,
in that
when
context?
is that ever gonna work again?
You just gotta go for it. You know, he was thinking about that in midair too. Like, he was directly aiming for second base.
Oh yeah.
Or if he landed on first base, oh man, I thought I at least could have gotten you to second base.
Like, he was planning all of that.
He had alternates in his head.
Like, if we catch a little gust, I could aim for third, but I don't know, I need to get some joke ready about rounding for home or something. I don't know.
And that is really the only line like that in this movie.
It's the only time that, like, anybody really throws any kind of quips or anything.
Yeah.
So it's out of nowhere. Like, it's a line that you'd expect out of, like, fucking Last Action Hero.
Oh, yeah. Or if Roland Emmerich had directed this. Because, yeah, most of it is just people are too busy dodging buildings in order to say some shit like that.
But yeah, it was just with all this, like, bizarrely convenient way that he keeps stealing all of these vehicles. That's why, like, I was, like I said, I was half expecting, like, this tidal wave to throw their boat up on top of, like, the fucking bridge, and then they, like, I don't know, like, drops them right next to a pair of, like, you know, his and hers motorcycles or something like that, so they could go, like, street racing back into the city or something.
Yes.
I honestly, like, the whole time I was expecting that to happen until it destroyed the bridge. I'm like, okay. And they were just in a boat for the rest of the movie. Like, come on, like, steal a hot air balloon or something like that.
Oh my god,
like,
yes. Just fucking go for it. Make it fucking preposterous. Hell, like, you didn't even have to land the boat from the wave onto the bridge. What if it landed on top of the building the daughter was in? Amazing.
It's like, what are the odds?
It's in a little book called What Would Paul W.S. Anderson Do? Do you recommend it?
I do. This is one of those random ones that, is it a good movie? No.
It's kind of the White House Down of this year.
Exactly. Like, it's not good. It's very fucking, like, paint by number, like,
yeah.
Like, you know, nothing is gonna surprise you that happens in this unless you've never seen a disaster film before.
Oh, Lord, yeah. It has all of the tropes of it. It just manages to really stick with the action, and that's about it. Like, even the divorce stuff it's only every now and then does that come up. It doesn't come up that much. Like, it's
like they keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Well, especially, like, you know, like, he and his ex keep talking about, you know, it's like, oh, you said our dead daughter's name. That it was nice. It's the first time I've heard you say her name out loud since it happened. And, like, they touch on it a couple times, but, like, the daughter that's still alive, like, never mentions it, acts like everything's totally cool, like, just not fucking weirded out by anything.
She's got the the double necklace in which her British guy love interest is like, so what's the deal with the double necklace?
Just out of nowhere, like they're just walking down the street trying to find like somewhere to be, and she's like, so you got 2 necklaces on. That's weird.
Got to get that exposition in there somewhere.
Like,
I see people wearing more than 1 necklace all the time.
And he didn't point out the fact she was wearing like 5 bracelets. That didn't seem weird. But yeah, I mean, it's exposition. I mean, the plot's got to fit in somewhere.
Yeah, and San Francisco hadn't gotten destroyed yet, so they had some time.
Yeah.
I could honestly see, because I could see myself like seeing this as a matinee or something. Like, okay, this is like a matinee screening kind of movie. It'll help if you just have like an empty theater and you can have some laughs during the movie, because it's kind of that kind of action movie where you can get some chuckles out of it and some jokes.
Don't see this at like a busy time. See this during a time where like you can just go and like just have some fucking people in there, just like have the fucking theater to yourselves.
Yeah.
And just fucking bust on this thing, because it is ludicrous. Like, this is definitely the sort of movie, like a year or 2 from now when this is on FX.
Yeah.
Every fucking weekend. Mm-hmm. This is the sort of movie, like, if I was just flipping through the channels I came across, I'm like, alright.
We're watching Andreas today. I don't, like, I could see myself seeing it again in, like, a group situation or something like that, but, it was better than I enjoyed it better than I thought I would, because...
Well, I think a big part of it is just because it knows that this, like, it's not taking itself too serious.
No.
And I think that was one of the big problems with, like, the Cusack 2012 one. It was like everything was the most important thing ever, and like everybody took things so seriously. Like, even though there was more like fucking like chuckle heavy dialogue in that, like everyone played it so fucking straight.
Yeah.
But like this one, they realize how stupid some of it is. Like that car at the beginning that they're trying to like, you know, it's wedged on the side of like this cliff and they can't get it down. That other dude like got pinned underneath it while trying to get it, you know, safe so that they could rescue that girl in it. So then The Rock just decides he's the one flying the helicopter. He's like, somebody else take over. Just gets up from there, goes back, straps in, drops down there, and then just grabs the car door and just pulls the fucking thing off and throws it. Like, thank God The Rock was on that fucking helicopter. If anybody else had been up there, she would have died.
Yeah, that girl would have been dead.
Like, thank God someone the size of a fucking building was on board to pull a door off.
And the screenwriter would have been so happy because he was trying desperately hard to kill that girl in the first 5 minutes of this film.
Which, I'm sorry, anyone who watches this, you know, that opening scene, watch the way that fucking crash happens, and tell me that it makes any sense to you that girl is not immediately dead. Like, she's just like... The thing flips and rolls and falls down like 4 cliffs and like just keeps rolling end over end and like falls off another cliff and then finally gets caught by like a twig. Like, it's something you'd expect to see out of a fucking like Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah, hell, if her car had fallen off of that fucking cliff, she probably still would have survived it. If she didn't get pulled out of there.
Honestly, yeah, the luck she was having so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like the fucking like crash scene that they would show like in those fucking SNL skits with like Toonces the driving cat.
Yeah. Oh, damn it, Toonces. Oh, well, he can drive, just not very well. Toonces, look out! Classic.
Yeah, it was on par with that kind of shit, except it just didn't explode. And then, like, she's just fine. She's just laying inside it. Like, apparently she calls for help. And then when they get close enough, they call her to make sure that, like, you okay in there? She's like, I'd like to be rescued now. It's like, okay. It's like, she's totally fine. She's just chilling. She was probably fucking in there, like, updating her fucking, like, like sending people, like, Snapchats, like, drawing, like, so scared. It's like, she's just up there.
Gonna be late for work.
It's like, well, nothing else to do. I guess I'll just
that's all right.
Fucking Tinder.
She probably died later anyway.
You know what? That's a good fucking point. They probably did all of that. They're like, oh man, we need to get her someplace, to get patched up. Take her to a hospital. An hour later, hospital, bum, 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 just fucking collapse. Like, no. Well,
she was probably still texting.
She's probably still alive inside that hospital. It's like, is someone gonna help? Hello.
I did get enjoyment out of this. Like, I can't say there was any moment in this where I thought it was, like, intense or anything like that, but, I'm not much on modern, like, natural disaster movies like this. Like, I know that there's a lot of work and stuff that does go into making the effects in these movies. I certainly do. But when I see, like, a disaster movie like this, enjoyment for me comes out of seeing just actual shit just get destroyed.
Yeah.
Like the ones from the 70s, the ones from, even up until some of the ones in the 90s. Something like this, or 2012, where it's those big shots where they all look kind of the same, and it's just mostly done by computers. It doesn't, I know there's really is a lot of work that goes into that, but it for me, it doesn't impress me as much as something like Earthquake, where you have these little models and they're just getting fucking destroyed and shit like that.
Oh shit, going down to like fucking like Universal and like MGM down there in fucking Florida, like that Earthquake like ride through thing.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is impressive. Like, oh shit. Like, fucking thing collapses, tanker truck falls into it.
Water coming right at you and shit like that.
Fucking everything's on fire. It's like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what I prefer in terms of movies like this. Because honestly, once you've seen a giant static shot of a city crumbling and buildings toppling over in something like this, or 2012, you've really seen them all.
But yeah, I mean, you could seriously splice this movie together with 2012, and it would look like these are like happening at the same time.
Well, hell, you see stuff like this in pretty much any or most superhero movies that come out too. Superhero movie, hell, Ninja Turtles had buildings toppling over and shit like that. Like, I see it.
San Francisco looked like Superman saved the day.
We leaned over when Carla Gugino's crawling out of the rubble. We
like all these buildings are falling.
Superman, thank God you saved us.
They were in trouble until that happened. Now they're safe.
But I would say this is a matinee. I could recommend it as that, especially, I guess, if your option is between this and Aloha.
If you have to see one movie this week. Yeah, it's passable. It's stupid fun. It's nothing major, but like, yeah, you'll have fun at it if you go to have fun. If you're going to expect something great, you're going to be a little disappointed.
No.
But yeah, like, this is one, like, yeah, just like, once this thing comes out on like fucking video, like, this will be one to like, just like something to put on, like, if you're having like just like a night where like you just want to like fucking watch something stupid. Yeah,
and grab some drinks, watch something stupid, like, kind of laugh along with the movie, crack some jokes, stuff like that. A lot of the cheesy shit.
I'm sure at some point this will be the sort of thing like, me and Letty will be getting ready to like go to bed. Like, oh, you want me to put something on? Like, yeah. It's like, all right, here.
All right, St. Andreas.
Watch it.
I don't have my copy of 2012 Supernova with me right now.
Oh man, all I have is my copy of 2012 Moby Dick.
Oh fuck yeah! That whale came from my leg, but he ain't getting my ass.
The award
fucking
goes to.
And next week it's like Entourage and Insidious 3 and Spy. I think Entourage is a midweek, but yeah, so I don't know who will be at what. I'll probably be at both Insidious 3 and Spy.
Can't really say I'm looking forward to Spy. I've never actually seen any of, like, I know that like the kid from She's All That is on Entourage, and Jeremy Piven was on the show. I don't know if he's in the movie.
He is.
Okay. That's the extent of my knowledge of Entourage.
I've seen it here and there, and what I've seen of it's fine. I just haven't really sat down to really watch all of it or most of it. I may, if I go to that, which I guess I will, if it's the only thing opening midweek, I'll probably watch like a handful of episodes or something.
Yeah, I figure like if no one else is calling it, like, well, seen the last two Insidious films in theater, so
yeah, at the least you and I will be at Insidious 3.
And fingers crossed, hopefully it won't be any stupider than the second one was.
Yeah.
I might before then just rewatch the first one. I doubt I'm gonna rewatch the second one.
If I have time, I might rewatch the first one. But maybe you won't have to because it's a prequel.
No, true. I should wait and watch this one first.
Yeah, watch this one first, then rewatch the other two.
Otherwise, it won't make any fucking sense.
See you next week.